first time I ever saw a cappella battle rap was when I saw Kevin Hart do his little comedy.
Is it like chocolate drop? Or?
Yeah, chocolate drop.
Yeah.
And you know what? I thought it was making fun of it.
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't real.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a real thing that you could battle rap a cappella.
Yeah.
And because Kevin Hart was the first one I saw do that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like sort of like he was making fun of something. I didn't know it was a real thing.
Yeah.
But it is a real thing.
Yeah. It's like massive in like America, Canada, UK, and even places in Asia, Africa as well. Like the Philippines has a Flip Top Battle Rap League, which is like kind of dormant at the moment, but they have it in huge factories. There's thousands of people there. You don't understand a word they're saying. The crowd just goes crazy. They upload a battle. It gets like 5 million views in a week. Like it's crazy over there. Russia as well. Yeah. There's a lot of, it used to just be like UK, Canada and America, but there's a bunch of other places now that do it too.
Oh,
Germany as well. Yeah.
So these places obviously suffered with COVID as well.
Yeah.
Are they having the same problems you guys have? Like have to come back up? Or
not so much because they already like established business, like massive followings, massive social media following. So, but they obviously are affected, but not as much, you know, like because they probably just went from making like hundreds of thousands of dollars to tens of thousands of dollars, you know. So that probably sucks for them, but I think, you know, smaller leagues are affected way more, you know. Yeah.
So when you guys were first starting out, like what kind of, like obviously you guys watched the American stuff, but what was the process in organizing, like how to produce one, like how to produce a battle between people, and who makes up the rules, or did you copy the rules from overseas? And
yeah, more or less just copied the rules. Like the rounds were like a minute back then, so like the battles were super short. Toki Cones, I think, was the person who kind of used to set up a lot of the battles back then, and like ask, "Oh, do you want to battle? And do you want to battle this person?" And then we had dudes like Scholar enter, and we're like, "Whoa! Like this is becoming serious." Like they came with some gangster shit, you know. We're like, "Whoa!" Like, and it was like, you know, usually when someone comes and they like do some gangster rap, they usually suck, you know. But these dudes came through and they were like awesome, you know, and they're like doing some South Auckland styles, and we're like, whoa, like these dudes are mean, you know, and we're like, oh, this, you know, this could become something big. Because in the start it was kind of like your mum's fat, and you do farts that smell a lot, and, you know, stuff like that, a lot of toilet humor, you know. And then we had dudes like entering and just like barring out, and we're like, whoa, like,
Man, that's so cool, man. And you guys started at the parks, eh? Like, around West Auckland?
Yeah, we did Te Pai. We did a bunch of battles at Basque Reserve, which is like in town. And our first event was North Shore. Right. It's like there's a skate park and a park that was like Box Cutter's house was there. There was a fence there. You just walk through the gate and the park's there. I can't remember the exact name of the park. But yeah, that's where our first event was, and it was there because like Box Cutter's house was like right there, you know. We're like, oh, let's just do it here. We're hanging out there, we're like, oh, let's do it here. Yeah.
And it was all just through social media, through Facebook, just getting people to follow and just saying where the event is and see you guys there.
And it was like, it started slow but started popping off, and it was better back then because there wasn't all the rules around, all the algorithms to kind of stop you promoting anything, you know? So I was just like, would like make a status and be like, and it was like just easier to like set up battles then because people were like hella hungry, you know? We'll be like, do you want to battle? And then they'll be like, yeah, I'll battle anyone, you know? Like nowadays you're like, do you want to battle? And they're like, oh, I'll only battle this person or that person, you know? Like,
oh, really?
Before it was so easy. It was just like you took names, you set up matchups, and then you had an event like sorted in like a day or two, you know? Yeah.
Did you guys have first prize and all that kind of stuff? Or was it just bragging rights?
It just started like, and that's the thing about when it started, like Spearman was like the main guy. and I was like one of the best battlers in the league. And at the second event, I battled Devastator, who was like the second best battler. And I was saying like, we need to build this up. And me versus Devastator is going to be like the championship on the 5th event or something. And Spearman was like, no, we need really good battles. And like the best two guys had to battle each other at the second event. But I guess it worked out because then like other talent started coming through. Like after seeing like me, Devastator, D&D versus Toki Cones, Mind Molesters versus DMN, you know, like that was more or less the second event, which had like 3 really good battles on it. So yeah, I guess people saw that and they're like, oh, I want to enter this, you know?
Yeah. Oh, wow. So this is set up like a tournament kind of thing, like a bracket.
Yeah, and now it's more like that. Like we have a championship, and we kind of like face people off against like winners battle winners.
Yeah.
Losers, if they still do well, they get to keep battling. But like if you like get bodied, you might have to take a break, you know?
Yeah.
So there's not exactly a bracket, but we have like a champion, we have a number 1 contender, we have guys who don't want to go for the belt for certain reasons, but then we have like guys that are like next in line for an international and that. So there's definitely like a ranking system, but it's just not on paper really.
You know what's cool about that, or what you're describing, is that it's crossing over to like more like sports now.
Yeah, like battle rap is recognized in a lot of places as a sport.
Wow.
Yeah, so and that's what I say, like when people are like, oh, I don't want to battle him because he's my friend, or like, you know, he knows my cousin and he knows all the stuff. I'm like, bro, when you play for Waitemata, do you say like, oh, I'm not going to play Northcote this week because like I used to go to Northcote Primary, you know, like, yeah. So that's how I kind of be like, you know, to make it to the top, you've got to kind of take those battles and take those chances and opportunities, or it might set you back, you know. Yeah.
How exciting was that for you guys? I mean, for you guys to create something and just popping off like that, because I picture like you guys, man, so like this was so cool. And
it is, but at the same time, it's like it's almost like you don't even notice. Like people are like
the hard work. You don't notice the hard work.
You don't even notice like the you know, the attention you're getting, and like people are like, oh, you're doing so well, bro, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, it's just become life, you know.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I can't believe you booked Disaster, and I was like, oh, he's our friend now, you know. Like, yeah, it's just become a way of life, really. Yeah.
So how did that start with the overseas stuff? Because these established battle rappers overseas that recognized, or did you reach out to them?
Yeah, a bunch of them started like recognizing New Zealand and like commenting on our stuff and saying like, I'd love to come to New Zealand. And we had like reached out to a bunch of people who like didn't even open our messages.
Yeah.
Like honestly, it took Disaster like years to be like, oh, I just saw this. I don't even use Facebook. He's like, you should have messaged me on Twitter. And I was like, no one in New Zealand uses Twitter, you know? Like, yeah, so it took years for them to like kind of even realize that we wanted, you know, especially Disaster. He doesn't use like the same social media platforms we use. So like we were like, oh, this guy must hate us. Why is he not replying to us, you know? Yeah.